I'm Ivy. I'm 26. And I was sitting at my brother's wedding reception when he grabbed the microphone during toasts and told 300 guests that I'd just finalized my divorce because I couldn't keep a man happy. People gasped. My face burned. But then he turned to laugh with his best man and didn't realize the mic was still hot when he whispered, "She still has no idea I'm the one who sent Connor those screenshots." My blood went cold, because I'd been wearing a recording app on my phone all night, and I'd just captured a confession. Connor and I were together for 5 years, married for 2. We had the kind of relationship people called boring in a good way. Sunday farmers market trips, splitting meal prep on Wednesdays, his hand finding mine during movies. Stable, safe, real. Until November. It started small. He'd come home from work and go straight to his laptop instead of kissing me hello. He'd check my phone when I left it on the counter, trying to be casual about it, but failing. One night I asked him what was wrong, and he looked at me with this expression I'd never seen before. Suspicion. "Are you hiding something from me?" he asked. I laughed. "Like what?" He didn't answer. In early December, he came home with a manila folder. He set it on the kitchen table between us, his jaw tight, and pulled out printed screenshots. Text messages. Allegedly between me and Jared, a guy from my marketing team at work. Flirty messages. Inappropriate. "Can't wait to see you tonight." And, "He doesn't need to know." Things I never, ever wrote. "Connor, I didn't send these," I said, my hands shaking as I looked at them. "I don't know where you got these, but they're not real. They have your number, Ivy. Your name." Then someone faked them. He stared at me like I was a stranger. "I trusted you. I tried everything." I showed him my actual text thread with Jared. Work stuff, boring and professional. I offered to let him go through my phone, my email, everything. But he wouldn't listen. He'd already made up his mind. He filed for divorce on December 18th. The petition cited infidelity and breach of trust. My brother Ryan, who I'd always been close to, who I called when I was panicking about the screenshots, was weirdly cold about the whole thing. "Maybe it's for the best," he said when I told him Connor had filed. I was sobbing on his couch, and he barely looked at me. "Connor deserves better than someone who lies." I remember staring at him. "You think I'm lying?" He shrugged. "I don't know what to think, Ivy." The divorce finalized on April 3rd. I had to pay Connor $8,200 to buy out his half of our jointly owned Honda CR-V. It drained my savings completely. I signed the papers in a conference room that smelled like stale coffee, my hand cramping around the pen. 2 weeks later, I got a wedding invitation in the mail. Ryan and his fiancée Shayna. May 20th. There was a handwritten note tucked inside. "Would mean a lot if you came. Let's put the past behind us." I almost threw it away. But he was still my brother. So I RSVP'd yes. I almost bailed the morning of the wedding. Stood in front of my closet for 20 minutes, staring at the burgundy dress I'd picked out, wondering if I could fake food poisoning. But I went. I told myself I needed to be the bigger person. The ceremony was beautiful. Shayna looked stunning in lace, and Ryan cried during his vows. I sat in the back and clapped when I was supposed to, my chest tight the whole time. The reception was at a vineyard outside Portland, string lights and long tables and a live band. I found my seat at a table with distant cousins I barely knew and tried to smile through dinner. My Aunt Linda kept reaching over to squeeze my hand, whispering, "You doing okay, sweetheart?" I nodded. I wasn't. Then came the toasts. The best man went first, telling some story about Ryan in college that got a big laugh. Shayna's maid of honor went next, crying happy tears. And then Ryan stood up, grabbing the mic from the DJ stand. He thanked everyone for coming. He talked about how much Shayna meant to him, how lucky he was. Standard stuff. And then he turned, looked right at me, and said, "I also want to acknowledge my sister Ivy, who just finalized her divorce." The room went quiet. My stomach dropped. "Let's all send her some love," Ryan continued, his voice dripping with fake sympathy. "Because, hey, not everyone can keep a man happy." 300 people turned to look at me. I felt my face go hot, my hands gripping the edge of the table so hard my knuckles went white. My aunt gasped beside me. Someone laughed nervously. Ryan handed the mic back to the DJ, grinning, and turned to his best man. But the DJ fumbled the handoff, and the mic was still on. Still live. And Ryan's voice came through the speakers, loud and clear. "She still has no idea I'm the one who sent Connor those screenshots." My heart stopped. A few people nearby gasped. My aunt's hand flew to her mouth. Ryan didn't notice. He kept talking to his best man, laughing. But the DJ cut the sound fast. His face panicked. I sat frozen. My phone was in my lap, the recording app running. I'd turned it on before the ceremony started, half expecting Ryan to make some dig at me and wanting proof if he did. I didn't expect this. I stood, my legs shaking, and excused myself. I could feel people staring as I walked toward the bathroom, my heels clicking too loud on the hardwood floor. I locked myself in a stall and pulled up the recording. My hands were trembling so badly I almost dropped my phone. I hit play. Ryan's voice, clear as day. "She still has no idea I'm the one who sent Connor those screenshots." I played it again. And again. I had no idea why my brother would destroy my marriage, but I was going to find out. People would have told me to let it go, to keep the peace, to not make a scene at a wedding. But I knew I deserved the truth. And if you're watching this because you want to see me take him down, hit subscribe. Because what I did next changed everything. I left the wedding early, didn't say goodbye, didn't make excuses. I drove home with my hands gripping the steering wheel, my mind racing. At home, I pulled out my laptop and started digging. I went through Ryan's Facebook, his Instagram, Shayna's accounts. I was looking for anything that connected them to Connor, to Jared, to those screenshots. And then I found it. A tagged photo from October. Shayna and a woman named Melissa at a wine bar in Seattle, holding martinis and laughing. Ryan was in the background, slightly blurred but unmistakable. Melissa. I knew that name. Connor had mentioned her a handful of times. She was the office manager at his firm. I'd never met her, but I remembered him saying she was really organized and super helpful. I stared at the photo, my pulse pounding. The next morning, I called my friend Tyler, who works in tech. "Can you fake text message screenshots?" asked. "Yeah, super easy," he said. "There are apps for it. Or you can just Photoshop them if you have the phone numbers and names." "Why?" "Just wondering." I pulled up the divorce filings next. Connor's attorney had submitted the screenshots as Exhibit C on January 9th. I downloaded them, zoomed in, and checked the metadata. The timestamp read November 14th, the exact week Connor's paranoia started. I needed a lawyer. I found one who'd do a consultation for $300, paid with my nearly maxed credit card, and met with her on May 23rd. Her name was Rachel, sharp-eyed and no nonsense. "Can I sue my brother for fraud?" I asked. She tilted her head. "Do you have proof he fabricated evidence?" "I have a recording of him admitting he sent screenshots to my ex-husband, but I don't have proof he made them." "You'll need both, and you'll need to prove damages." I nodded. $8,200 felt like pretty clear damages to me. That night, I did something I swore I'd never do. I sent Connor an email. Subject line, I need to ask you something about November. I hit send and waited, my stomach in knots. He responded in 10 minutes. We should talk. I've been wondering about some things too. We met at a coffee shop on May 28th. It was weird seeing him again. His hair a little longer, the same jacket he always wore. He looked tired, guarded. Thanks for meeting me, I said, sliding into the booth across from him. He nodded. What's this about? I pulled out my phone and played the recording. Ryan's voice filled the small space between us. She still has no idea I'm the one who sent Connor those screenshots. Connor's face went pale. When was this? His wedding. 3 days ago. He ran a hand through his hair, his jaw tight. Melissa gave me those screenshots. In mid-November. She said a mutual friend found them and wanted me to know you were cheating. Melissa, I repeated. I pulled up the photo on my phone. Shayna, Melissa, Ryan at the wine bar. This Melissa? Connor stared at it. Then he grabbed his own phone, scrolling fast. Melissa and Shayna were college roommates, he said, his voice flat. I just found her on Shayna's Facebook. They're tagged together in like 50 photos. We sat there, the pieces falling into place. Why would Ryan do this? Connor asked, his voice breaking slightly. Why would he destroy our marriage? I thought about it, and then it hit me. The property. Our dad died 3 years ago. He left a rental duplex in Portland, worth about $340,000 in his will. But there was a weird clause, something Dad added because he had old-fashioned ideas about rewarding stable family building. I pulled up the will on my phone. I'd saved a PDF copy. I found the section and read it out loud. In the event that Ryan Joseph Trent is married and Ivy Marie Trent is unmarried at the time of distribution, the property shall pass solely to Ryan. Connor stared at me. He tanked. Your marriage for an inheritance? He needed me single and him married when the probate closed. Connor looked gutted. I destroyed our marriage over fake texts. I didn't even verify them. I just trusted Melissa. She had no reason to lie, I said quietly. Except she did. We sat in silence for a minute. Then Connor said, What do you want to do? I want to confront him. I'm coming with you. On June 2nd, we showed up at Ryan and Shayna's apartment. Unannounced. Connor stood beside me as I knocked. Ryan answered. Saw us both. And his face went completely white. Hey, Ryan, I said, my voice calm. We need to talk. We didn't wait for an invitation. We walked in. Shayna was on the couch, a glass of wine in her hand. She looked between us, confused. I played the recording. Ryan tried to interrupt, but I held up my hand. Let it finish. When it ended, I showed them the photo. Melissa, Shayna, Ryan, the timeline, the will. I've already talked to a lawyer, I said. Fraud. Interference with marriage. I've got proof. Ryan's mouth opened and closed. Ivy, But Shayna cracked first. He deserved that property. She snapped, her voice sharp. And you weren't even serious about Connor anyway. I pulled my phone out and hit record. Say that again. Ryan's eyes widened. Ivy, don't. You ruined my marriage for $340,000, I said, my voice shaking. You humiliated me in front of 300 people. So yeah, I'm recording this. Shayna kept going. Melissa helped because we asked her to, because Ryan deserved it. I saved the recording, and I left. I didn't sue Ryan, but I did send the recording to our mom, our aunts, our cousins, everyone who'd been at that wedding, everyone who heard him humiliate me. Ryan and Shayna's marriage didn't last. The shame ate them alive. They separated 4 months later. Connor and I didn't get back together. Too much had broken. but he cut me a check for $4,100, half of the settlement I'd paid him. We met for coffee one more time, and he said, "I'm sorry I didn't believe you." "I'm sorry too," I said. "The property's tied up in probate court now. I'm contesting the will clause with a lawyer who thinks we've got a solid case for undue influence and fraud. Ryan wanted to humiliate me in front of everyone, so I let everyone hear exactly who he is. If you think I should have sued him, drop a like. Comment if you think Connor and I should have given it another shot. And subscribe for more stories where the betrayer gets exactly what's coming to them."